Royal Rising Star Pupils, I'm your host, friend, and life coach, Mrs.Divine, and I bridge the gap between intuition and intelligence. You walk in your power by connecting yourself to your spirituality. You walk in your power by connecting you to your inner essence, and that is spirituality. If you haven't started to do that, you don't understand what I mean. That's because every time you start to supercharge that connection between you and your inner essence by connecting that line of spirituality, something happens to attack you spiritually and attack your energy. So for Black people, especially African Americans, any form of our melanated people all around the world, there are all types of attacks put out there on us to stop us from understanding that connection we have when our energy is actually built up, right? When we're not being spiritually attacked. So there are things like people have to worry about money, their bills, having enough food to eat, their basic needs. When the basic needs aren't met, safety is threatened, things like that. A person is left in a state of chaos or just really stressed out. This stops a person from being able to even start to build up that energy from within, which connects the person to their spirituality, which is the divine essence that's within all of us. So that's like someone walking around on this earth plane with nothing to energetically fuel them. So they're like dead inside. That battery that holds all the power is that connection to the spirituality, the connection to your inner essence, the connection to the divine. Okay? So I'm going to tell you a few tips right now on how to start to gain that power from within, harness it so much so that you are almost instantly connected to your spirituality in such a way where once you feel it, even if something happens where you're taken aback or you drop from that level, you're going to feel it. And once you feel it, you know what you need to do to get back to there. You know what that feeling is when you are there. You know when everything feels aligned, in alignment. And that's what the alignment is about, is that your inner essence is connected to your higher essence, which is your spirituality. So when you'll know when you feel aligned, when you start to do enough things to bring yourself connected to that spiritual essence that's within. Okay? So I'm going to tell you right now, the verbal way of protecting your energy. There are lots of different things we can do physically to protect our energy. But right now I want to talk about the verbal way because the power of the word is amazing. The power of the word reacts so fast to create our reality, and we're just not aware of how quick and easy it is to protect our energy using thoughts and using your words. So the first way we're going to discuss on how to protect your energy verbally is to say less. Again, I repeat, the power of our words are so important when it comes to creating our reality. And for those who haven't tapped into that, it's hard to understand, but it's a literal meaning. It's a literal interpretation. Say less. If there's something you need to get across or want to say to someone, say it in as few words as possible. And when you say it, you're going to want to make sure that you're using high vibrational words. Therefore, you're going to, if I want to tell you I love you, I'm going to tell you I love you. I might not even have to tell you I love you. I know the love I feel in my heart if I come to you and I walk up and I just give you a big hug, and you're going to feel that energy being channeled into you. You're going to know I love you. There are plenty of things I can do without even saying that I love you to show that I love you. But what I'm not going to do is say, be safe out there, little N-word. That kind of stuff isn't how you express love. And what that is actually doing when you're saying other things than what you mean is it's confusing you and allowing more confusion to come into your atmosphere. All right. So it's causing that barrier or that connection between you and your divine essence to be mixed up and entangled by everything you create in this sphere that's around you that you're not paying attention to. Okay, so say what you need to say and as few words as possible. So we have this phrase in, our community where it is, you do say less, say less. And that's what that means. As soon as a person is explaining something to me and I start to begin to understand what they're saying, I understand completely what they're saying. I tell them, say less, I got you, because I know what they mean. They don't have to continue on. Because the more they speak, the more they're manifesting. And sometimes we're not consciously aware of exactly what we're manifesting. Tip number 2. Don't tell people everything. Learn how to keep secrets to yourself, secrets about yourself to yourself. And learn what it is for you to keep to yourself. If you have someone who is telling you things that have nothing to do with you, nothing to do with them, nothing to do with you, then you must stop it. That's called gossip, right? You want to stop all forms of gossip. You want to ask, this is what I do. I ask people, what does it have to do what does it have to do with you or me? And a lot of times they'll be like, oh, nothing, and then right there, we can talk about something else. If that doesn't work, I'll give you a tip for later if that doesn't work. But even if it has to do with them, if they're telling you some things and they're just a low vibrational person, they're okay with sitting in their lower states of energy and perceiving the world from lower states of depression. They are not really connected to their spirituality because everything that's happening in the world around them is getting to them. And they don't want to do any healing. They don't want to do any changing. But you are that person they want to talk to because you are doing that. And they seek your light in their state of darkness. You must protect your energy. When they say things to you, you have to know how to act with that. You have to know how to set up your parameters around you in those conversations to block that energy from integrating with you. So a point of that is knowing too that what they have going on with them is what they have going on with them. But simply them venting out to you is going to throw their problems at you, especially if you do not remain indifferent. You must remain indifferent. That's tip number 3. Remain indifferent unless it's your situation, unless it's something that's consciously calling you to react. It's consciously calling your attention to it because it's your stuff. If it's your stuff, attack that full on, handle that, evaluate it and solve that issue. If it's not your stuff, remain indifferent. It doesn't matter if your friend is crying on the end. You do not have to lower your energy to bring yourself there and cry with them if that's not where you're at. Now, if what they say has moved you to tears, you have to evaluate that because now that has completely entered your world. Okay? It sounds harsh, but this is not a game of what sounds good to other people. This is you protecting your energy and remaining in your spirituality, remaining connected to source despite distractions. And that will be a distraction because it is not happening to you. It is happening in the world outside of you with someone else. It's something for you to observe without you being completely pulled into the mix of. It's going to naturally do something for you. You're going to have another feeling that comes inside of you from hearing your friend cry about something. Okay? Honor that feeling that comes up for you and explore that in the connection that has to do with you and your friend. You don't have to cry because they're crying. Sounds harsh, but that's what it is. Again, being indifferent is another way to protect your spirituality. Don't tell people the things you have planned. Okay, because everybody doesn't have the best interest for you. And it's not even that they're trying to be mean. It's just the fact that they aren't where you're at sometimes. And if they don't have the source, if their source of connection to the spiritual is not as strong as yours, they literally aren't able to match your frequency. So you can tell somebody about, hey, I plan on throwing myself a birthday party. And then they say, what for? With Corona and everything, might as well just not do anything. Or I don't even know if I'm going to come if you're going to have too many people there. They do stuff people say and do stuff to try to throw you off your high, try to throw you off of your your excitement, to try to throw you off of your connection to the light, your connection to your divine essence. And now just those comments can make you feel like, okay, well, yeah, I'm probably not gonna do nothing now. I thought people would be excited, you know, to do something, but I guess not. Okay. And so you can protect your energy by saying, okay, I'm going to do it regardless and just not bring those people. Or you can choose to see it however you need to see it. That's going to empower you more. So it's about self-empowerment from within, seeing things happening outside of you and interpreting in a way. And how is this supposed to raise my consciousness? As opposed to, let me stay here and just keep feeling this because these things are happening out here. Okay. When you feel something, you don't have to feel something and stay there. You don't have to touch a hot stove and keep your hand on it, seeing that it's hot, just to feel it. The minute you touch it, boom, hot, felt it. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. Okay. So staying in a place is not healing. Staying in a place and not taking any action to do something about it is going to take a lot of energy from you. Okay. So get in the habit of not telling your secrets not telling your everything to everyone. I always tell people, if you want to know who I am and my essence and my core, you have to take all of my friends, all of my family, have them all in a room, find all of my journals, because I have tons, find all of my journals, listen to all of my YouTube videos, go back and get the ones that that are edited, that are not edited, that are just raw, that I chopped all up to make a piece out of it. And even then, you will get more of an introspection as to who I am in my inner essence, but you will not know all, because there are literally some things I keep within myself that serve as a memory only accessible by my mind. Okay? And that's how it should be. Should be certain things that connect you to your power, connect you to your essence, that you just simply don't have to reveal to the outside of the world, because it's within so strong that it's going to keep on appearing outside the world, but it's going to be appearing to you because it's for you. It's for your strength. It's for you to protect that connection between you and your inner essence, which is spirituality. Okay. And another thing, the last tip I have for protecting your energy verbally is for you to, sometimes we may find ourselves sometimes we may find us in our inner essence under attack, meaning under spiritual attack, meaning that we have done these proper steps or protocols to make sure that our space is protected physically, right? So we may only be around those who love and care, who we feel love and care about us. We may limit our access to social media, or go on there and only post this, or allow yourself 5 minutes of scrolling, or whatever. Like, we take certain steps to protect our energy physically, right? But suddenly, even though you've taken those steps, you're suddenly being bombarded spiritually with an attack. That looks like somebody calling you saying how depressed and sad that they are. Somebody telling you some bad news. Girl, did you hear about this and that and that and that? And then you saying something like, yeah, no, I didn't hear about that, or I did hear about that, but what does that have to do with you or me? And they say, it doesn't matter. I'm gonna tell you anyway. Da 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 da. Or they tell you something and they're like, do you understand what I'm saying? You're like, well, I see the way you're looking at it, but here's the point of view I'm looking at it from. And they're like, no, your point of view is wrong. Here's what it is. When people can't understand your point of view and they want to argue with you and stay at their point of view and not even acknowledge the fact that your point of view is something that is in existence because they can't see it, that shows you how far deeply disconnected they are from where you're at. Not saying that you're right and they're wrong, but saying that you are right and they are right to stay right where they're at. So when you understand that you are right and they are right to stay right where they're at, you can't allow that energy to come to you. To allow that energy to come to you is when they hit you with the statement like, you feel me? Or, wouldn't you act like that? Or do you understand what I'm saying? And you rebuttal that by saying, I understand what you're saying from the level that you're at. And if that's where you're at, you can stay there. You stay there as long as you need to. Maybe one day you're going to see it in a different light. Okay. Or you can do something like when they're telling you these things, neutralize the energy. Okay. Statements that have saved me before I was even consciously aware of the fact that neutralizing energy or protecting yourself verbally was something you can do, or something I needed to do, which is a part of my essence, my inner being. People called me Mary Poppins because they said I just didn't care. I was whichever way the wind floated. I just wanted to be nice to everyone, see everybody's point of view. I didn't care about their point of view. Okay. A lot of times they were discussing things that I can care less about. You're talking to me about the weather. I see it like you see it, and I saw it. It is what it is. I don't need to have a 5-minute conversation about what the weather is like. You're talking to me about your man and how you can't stand the relationship that you're in. But me, on the other hand, I love my relationship that I'm in. I love my man. I wouldn't be with him if I didn't want to be with him. So as you're complaining about that kind of stuff, and I'm listening because I'm right there, or you're talking to me, I'm not going to respond in the way that you want me to respond, simply because I don't care. So when you're saying stuff like, and all men are like this, or all women are like this, I'm like, oh, okay. Well, what do you think about it? I mean, it don't matter to me either way. Those kind of statements actually save you from allowing that person's vibration to attach to you. Okay. I used to say phrases like, whatever. Anywho, I would do things like that, not knowing that I was subconsciously protecting my energy. It was in me all along to be knowing how to protect my energy. I just never knew it was something that I was doing to protect that power that's within, to protect myself, to connecting with my divine. Okay. So phrases like, it's whatever, it is what it is. Anyway, anyhow, those like transitional words that kind of like say, I'm to kind of like disengage you from the topic are good things, good words to throw in your vocabulary to practice neutralizing the energy of some other level that you don't want to reach your world, your thought realm. Okay. Because your thought realm is your world. Everything you think is what you create around you. Okay. So another word or phrase you can use that is really strong is to literally think in your head, or to say aloud just enough, just whisper it. And I do it all the time. People hear me talking to myself all the time, and they'll say, what you say? Did you just say something? I'll be like, I was talking to myself. And it irritates people because they want to know what you said. But literally all I'm probably saying is either I'm asking for something to come in, or like, I'm saying ashe to something, perfectly ashe, or I am neutralizing things. So perfectly ashe is me heightening my energy. Whatever I just thought, said, whatever just happened, I'm going to claim that as a confirmation, and this is what I want you to keep bringing in. So keep raising that energy when I say perfectly ashe. When I say I neutralize that energy, that's my way of saying I just heard something. My consciousness detected it. And I want you, subconscious mind, who's in charge of creating the things my conscious mind allows through, to know I didn't say that. I don't ask for that. That's not something I want to continue to see in my world. Okay. And so you either think I neutralize the energy, or you say it out loud. I neutralize that energy. It doesn't have to be loud enough for everybody says, what are you neutralizing? But it has to be loud enough where you can pick it up in some way. Even just saying it, neutralize energy. Like that, I just said it. And you probably didn't hear what I said, but you could feel it in your throat. Your body feels it. Words hold vibrations. It doesn't have to be loud where people are able to see that you are talking to yourself. Okay. And this is what I tell my son all the time. You don't have to be an open book where everybody hears everything you're saying and wants to question everything you're saying. People simply don't understand what we're doing. Right. But that's a way to protect your energy. And so I hope you get from this video, it's my intention from this video for you to understand ways of how to quickly neutralize energy. And when I say neutralize, I mean, look at it like the neutralizing energy is like the weapon of all these things all these tips I just gave, right? Because it's like energy is coming and it's like a vaporizer blaster. You turn, point it, and when you shoot at it, it vaporizes into thin air. Okay. It doesn't get to cross over into your experiences because you're saying, it's not coming no closer. Keep it right there. All right. So you cannot reject it. If you reject it, If you reject energy or rebuke, I rebuke thee. When you're doing stuff like that, all you're doing is you're telling it, I don't like you. And now it's getting more mad because it's growing more and more with hate, because although it's there, people aren't willing to accept it, right? So it's going to keep coming back at a greater and greater force because you haven't sent it back to the mother, to the mother. You haven't sent it back to Mother Nature, who loves all its babies, just like how mothers do. Doesn't matter what they act like, look like, whatever, they're going to love them. All right. So send it back to Mother Nature. If you don't send it back to Mother Nature, it's going to just be out here mad and angry, full of hate because no one wants to accept it, but it exists. So it's going to keep on forcing its way into it's bigger, bigger, bigger. And it hits somebody in a way where it completely does a lot of damage. I don't want to say completely destroys, but does a lot of damage. So you don't want to reject it. You want to neutralize it. You want to be that indifferent person where you know what's your stuff. You know what is consciously drawing your conscious. You know what is drawing your consciousness. What is telling you this is important enough for you to pay attention to. What is understand the feeling behind it. Where are you finding it in your body? Where does it come up for you? What memories are drawn to you from it? And know if this is something you want to amplify or you want to heal from. Okay. If you're not going to be able to amplify it, you don't want to amplify it in your life, or you don't want to heal from it, whatever it is coming in your life, or if it's not there, then neutralize it so that you can understand what's coming from you and your inner essence that's within, because you have built up that power and you are blocking anything from trying to lower that power. Or else if you allow these lower energies to come in and spiritually attack you like they are left and right, and you're just not aware of it sometimes, then you're going to lose that connection from within, because you're going to start to have self-doubt. You're going to start to forget that you are more than just this physical vessel, this shell. And you're going to start to become one of those people who are walking around depressed with those depression clouds around them, not knowing their connection to the spiritual, not feeling that empowerment from within, because they have been so spiritually attacked and they are doing nothing that's impactful enough to fight off the threats and the attacks that are coming left and right all the time. It's spiritual warfare. Okay? Spiritual warfare, and you're prepared for it. As you have the power of thought and you have the power of your words. Those are the quickest, most effective methods of protecting your energy. Have a wonderful day, Star Peoples.